few weeks ago, about 3 to 4 weeks ago, I put out a video about eating a can of frosting. So I've been on the carnivore diet for 3.5 years and had a very weak moment and ate an entire can of store bought frosting. And I had all kinds of issues, lower back pain, just didn't feel right for several days, actually, like 4 to 5 days. Um, so you would think I learned my lesson. Well, I sort of did it again. Sort of. Not exactly. Let's kind of go into the details here. So let me give you a little bit of a story here of how this all set up. First of all, my daughter is getting married in about a month and a half, and she has a bachelorette party this weekend. So when my wife and I got married, um, it was a lot different. Uh, it was a one night thing. My wife had, bachelorette party. They went to a bar or a couple bars, something like that. And that was it. It was a one night thing. Nowadays, I guess it's like an entire weekend type of thing. So Thursday, my wife is going down to, they're all going down to South Carolina and they're having the bachelorette party in Charleston. And it's going to be basically from Thursday through Sunday. And so my wife is making a cake for the bachelorette party instead of doing like a professionally bought one or whatever. And she was testing her frosting technique or whatever last night on a basic cake that she made. She made her own frosting, that kind of stuff. Probably a little bit cleaner, I guess, than store bought, but still not going to be great. It's going to have your sugar and all that kind of stuff in it, right? And I said to myself as I walked by there, seeing her making the frosting, I said, I remember what I did the last time. I remember how that hurt my back. I'm not doing it. But I did take two little swipes of frosting, just my finger, little swipes, two little swipes. About 4 to 5 hours later last night, I started getting pain in my toes and my left foot. At first, I was like, this is kind of weird because I used to get flare ups in my feet all the time before carnivore. Maybe once a month or so, once every 2 months, somewhere in there, I'd have a really big flare up, right? I started to get this pain. I went to bed last night. I wasn't really thinking much about it being the frosting, but I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't have these issues. They don't happen to me anymore. Well, it was a very restless night last night. I had trouble sleeping. I had that pain. I started feeling a bit stiff. I woke up in the morning with a stiff neck. And all this has to come back to the frosting because the last time I ate the frosting, granted it was more, but the last time I had all kinds of issues. So I guess I didn't learn enough of my lesson thinking, oh, I'm more bulletproof. I can just have a little bit and it's not going to affect me. No, still did. So here I am now, Wednesday morning, and I'm recording this video, being honest about what I've done again. It seems like I've done a few of these lately now, and I don't know why, but that seems to be a theme for me. But anyway, I'm almost 3 months short of 4 years now on the carnivore diet, and I think that has a lot to do with my sensitivity to those types of foods. Like in the past, I used to eat foods like that, frosting, and didn't have like a direct consequence right away where I felt so bad, right? Um, I would have issues with, like I was talking about, my feet flare up, every once in a while, like about every month or two or so, I'd have either my feet or ankles, knees, something like that would have some sort of like flare up. I'd say it was back then, I would say it was some sort of bursitis or something like that, right? I had, in my big toes, I had arthritis, that kind of stuff. I had a lot of back pain. I'd had trouble sleeping at night, but never really could correlate it to, okay, I would eat something and then a few hours later, boom, I'd feel that way, right? And I think it's just that your body is so inflamed, it gets so used to that that you're just kind of chronically feeling like that. And now, basically being over 3.5 years on the carnivore diet and being really strict and not eating those types of foods, that when you do eat something like that, your body really notices it, and your body's like, hey, I'm not used to eating this kind of stuff, and it's really not good for you, so I'm going to give you a warning. And to me, that is an example of that food just not being good for you. Anybody that says, oh, eating something like frosting and eating sugar is not bad for you, um, this is a perfect example of how it really is. And maybe, somebody that eats that food all the time doesn't really correlate and know that, because they always have something going on or something, and they think it's just everyday life. It's just aging, that kind of stuff. But in reality, you're feeling that way because you're eating that stuff all the time. And I eat it one time and I feel it for a couple days because of it. Who knows how long this is going to be now? Hopefully, it won't be that long, because it was just two little swipes of my finger. But who knows? So that's the moral of the story here today: is even a little bit of the wrong foods can really affect your body and hurt you. And for somebody that's not used to eating those foods too, your body's going to give you the warning, like, hey, no. I'm pretty sure this is probably like oxalate dumping type of thing, but my body's saying no, rejecting it, and rejecting it because it's not really good food. It's not what humans should be eating.